So, this little pet project of mine has a bit of an odd name, right? Looking at the information I've put out so far, it makes thematic sense, sure. It takes place in the woods and has horror elements. However, I'm going to be taking some time to discuss the lore-related reason for this game's naming convention. I won't be discussing many fundamentals in this video, so please go check out the others to catch up. So, Of Branch and Bone, while not forcing a particular story direction, follows its own set of rules and laws of the world. One of the most essential is the Forest's Curse, a supernatural disease that merges the afflicted with nature. Most of the enemies you face are cursed, and by the severity is determined by the warden's discretion, or by a dice roll depending on the enemy type. To familiarize you with this concept, let's go over the most basic enemy type, the zombie, or better known in this game as the root ghoul. Humans taken by the forest who have not yet succumbed to the elements, or total assimilation, wander the woods as the disease progresses. Feral instinct kicks in as the disease overcomes their mind. Each stage of affliction weakens the host and strengthens the malevolent flora within. No matter the victim, human or animal, the outcome remains the same. Take root in as many hosts as possible before its current vessel seizes up for good. Say you encounter a human root ghoul in-game. How does the forest curse rear its head mechanically? Let's go over some numbers. Of Branch and Bone uses a typical 6-sided dice for all gameplay-related resolutions. A human character, being the system's baseline, has up to 1d6 in any given stat. Since the root ghoul started as human, we'll use this value going forward. Roll a d6. If the result is over 50% of the host's health, in this case more than 3, the outcome is 3. To scale this for larger enemies, add a die for each multiple of 6. Rolling 3 or more counts as 1 point in this scaled down example. The roll result is subtracted from the enemy's health and is counted as points. To clarify, our example of a 6 HP human can have up to 3 points and 3 health, while, let's say, a 12 HP bear can have 2 points and 6 HP. It scales this way to take tankiness into account. You don't want an enemy running around with 3 or 4 points of ability while still being nearly unstoppable. All this talk of points, what do they pertain to? Special abilities granted by the progress of the disease. Anything from the enemy sprouting thorns that have a chance to hurt human players that get too close, to bark growing on the target's skin to create natural armor. I'm working on a pretty extensive list of at least 18 of these abilities to make some really interesting encounters. The game's de facto dungeon master, or warden in this case, is given the choice to either use all of these abilities in random conjunction by rolling on the table and applying them to the monsters based off their values and points, or add them in as they see fit to craft their own unique encounters. With this, I'm trying to achieve 2 main goals. Number 1, show off the disease and its lore implications. I want players to be very aware of how scary this malevolent, root-based virus is. And number 2, I want to flip the entire concept of infected, zombie-like enemies on its head. I'm not looking for hordes. I'm looking for a system that designs unique and interesting combat encounters with unpredictable but scalable elements. So, what's my obsession? What's my whole point of putting so much effort into making this disease feel real and scary? Well, it's to ground the players in the game's reality. This isn't a role-playing game for nothing. Obviously, the systems are a bit bare bones and easy to get into, specifically to push the actual roleplay and themes into the forefront of the game. Also, you're diseased too. Your character, and every other player in the game, is afflicted with this disease from the start of the game to the very end. And based off what you've seen so far, there's really only one way that it can end. Every day that passes in Of Branch and Bone, players gain a new ability that allows them to tune into the woods more. But, of course, it doesn't come without side effects. So, from the very first day, you're on the clock. Your character grows stronger and more attuned to the woods around them, gains strange and horrifying new abilities that'll help in combat and exploration, but at the same time, your time is running out. Positive effects also have negative ones. More attack damage, less health. More inventory size, less speed. Have that thorn ability that I talked about earlier? You have a chance of taking bleed damage every time you fail a roll to do something dexterous. So, how's that big reveal? Your character is bound to die in the woods, so at that point, what's even the point of playing? Well, it's cyclical. It's nature. The whole game is built around you becoming so in tune with the environment around you that you ultimately succumb to it and become a part of it. But within that is much exploration to be had. Tons of interesting interactions between non-hostile, non-playing characters that I will get into in another time. And exploring unique and scary environments that'll help tie into the main story that this game is built on. And who knows, even if you will return to the ground at one point or another, your effect will still be seen throughout the entire forest, depending on your choices.